evening. I am Coach Michelle Kennedy, Master Life Coach and Chief Curator for Embrace You Training Solutions, better known as Miss Get You Together. Thank you for coming and sharing with us again on today for our episode of Come Let's Sit Down and Talk. It's going to be good and interesting. I have a special guest here today. Someone I've known since she was probably maybe about 5 years old. I remember her. I used to be her church dance teacher, Sunday school teacher. So we got some skin in the game. So I have Jaterra Robinson here, Miss Tara Dana, the Tara Dana Show. She's gonna share with us, so we're gonna have some good conversation. So Tara Dana, tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Jaterra Robinson, aka Tara Dana. I have a lot of hats. I am a high school science teacher. I'm a cheerleading coach. I have my talk show. I am so nervous.
It's okay.
Talks with Tara Dana live show. I also have a lip gloss, lipstick, lash line known as Tara Dana Beauty. So that's me.
See, I know about the lip gloss and the lipstick. I didn't know you did lashes now. I'm gonna have to hook you up with my MUA, so we can get them lashes.
Yes.
So I asked Jaterra to come on today because she's from a dynamic that we hadn't had a conversation with. You know, real, seasoned, and then Tyler, somebody child we didn't talk to. So let's have a conversation. So tell it. I know you said that you are a high school science teacher. So tell us about your college experience and what was that like? And you're still in college, right?
Well, I'm going back to college. I'm going back to medical school.
Oh, you're gonna be a doctor?
Yes.
Doctor.
Yes. Wow. Okay, so I actually graduated high school with my AA degree. It's a program known as the Early College Program. I definitely would tell anyone who's looking to go to college, go to the Early College Program. I went to I went to Ribault High School. Ribault has it, as well as Robert E. Lee, which will be known as Riverside. That's a whole nother story. But so I was in the Early College Program. I graduated high school with my AA degree. From there, I went to the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. I went to FAMU, spent about 3 years there, getting my degree, molecular cell biology, bachelor's of science degree. From there, I moved back to Jacksonville, not knowing 6 months later my mom would pass away. And it's kind of crazy how things work out because I had planned to go into medical school right after I graduated with my bachelor's degree. However, something just didn't fall in line. So I had like 6 months to spend with my mom, which I was like very, very grateful for that. After that time, I spent some more time here. I became a science teacher at Robert Lee High School. First time I taught biology there. But my experience at FAMU was phenomenal. To be honest, I thought that FAMU was like, it's just a lot of African Americans there. And they'll let anybody in. But honestly, I met some of the most smartest people at FAMU that I did not expect. And the curriculum, it was pretty tough because I didn't make all A's. I didn't make all B's. I'm just going to be honest. But I graduated. And that entire experience, I would say to anybody, if you are looking to go to HBCU, definitely go to FAMU. From there, I went to it's called West Virginia University. I believe that's what it's called. To start my master's program. But I was up in West Virginia. And that experience was just poor to me, honestly. I'm going to be honest. So I was there for about a semester. It pretty much creeped me out for the simple fact of there's mountains everywhere. The university sat on top of the mountain. So if you were not careful, you could just drive right off the mountain.
Oh, wow.
So I had to leave and I went to Lincoln Memorial University in Tennessee. And I got my master's degree in biomedical professions. I got that last year and now I'm back here. I'm applying to medical school now in hopes of getting back in and finishing off. That's something that I've been dreaming of since I was about 6 years old.
I remember you talking about being a doctor
Mm-hmm.
the whole while. I'm gonna
Yep.
be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's amazing to know that even though sometimes life happens and our paths are not always as we've pictured them,
Mm-hmm.
that you still are holding on to your dream and you have not given up hope.
Yep.
You had mentioned your mother. Your mother was my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were tight,
Mm-hmm.
and she helped me through some very hard times
Mm-hmm.
in my life, very dark times in my life. She helped me out a whole lot,
Mm-hmm.
always being that sounding board, always being that one I could talk to, always being the one who never took sides. She was gonna tell you how it was.
Yes,
It
sir.
wasn't gonna be no chaser. You was
Mm-hmm.
gonna get the gospel,
Mm-hmm.
and I always admired the way she lived a upright life in front of you all, because it's four girls.
Right.
And she was a widow,
Right.
and she lived upright. I remember when we first came, because we attended the same church.
Mm-hmm.
When we first came to Maddox, Jasmine was 3 years old,
Yep.
and so she lived a life in front of you all and raised you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always admired the way that she lived in front of you all. You all are all college, have been to college, have degrees, and you, Desiree, are both teachers, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah, and then that was your mom's second profession,
Right.
to become a teacher, which was always funny to me. I was like, Jackie, I know them students is walking a chalk line.
Yes. I don't know how she did it.
Because she never played, and she did foster kids.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember she had a few that only I could handle.
Mm-hmm.
That was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
William,
I remember that.
Linda.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So watching you all grow has been an amazing journey, but it has been a real testament to who she is, watching you all grow past her demise. And um, I honor her yearly
Mm-hmm.
with the Jackie Jules
Mm-hmm.
Award, because the Bible said you mark a good man,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my way of marking her life, because she was an outstanding mother.
Mm-hmm.
She was Holy Ghost filled. Her brother said she cut Jesus' toenails. She was just that
Yes.
close to it.
Yes.
But she was amazing. And that has been why for so long I've kept up with you girls, and I feel that like that's something I owe to her,
Mm-hmm.
to keep watching her girls. I would inbox y'all in a heartbeat. I'd be like, "You good? You
Yeah.
need something? If you let me, I got you."
Mm-hmm.
So and which is also a reason I wanted you to be able to come and share your experience. So if you could say something to a young lady who is trying to figure out her way in college, what would that be?
I would definitely say hold on to the people, your support system. And my support system was my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's funny that you said that. My support system was my mom, so I held on to her. Anytime I would call her, I remember being a young girl, I was like, Mom, everybody have boyfriends and I don't have a boyfriend. I would call her for everything, not just, even there will be days when you may not pass that test. There may be days when you just don't feel like going. You just don't feel like you may feel all kind of ways. You may feel like some people are moving past you, because a lot of times a lot of people don't go straight into college after graduating.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you are that young lady that's like, oh, I'm such and such age and I still have not gotten my associate's degree. Mm-hmm. It's never too late to go to school. It's never too late. Just stay in your own lane and do not compare yourself to other people. That's definitely what I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's something good. You bring up comparison, because oftentimes we get so sidetracked looking at what other people are doing.
Yep.
And when we're honing in on what someone else is doing, it causes us to not appreciate who we are. Mm-hmm. What our abilities and what our skills are. Yeah. I often say to people, when you compare yourself to someone else, it's as if you're saying to God, what you made me isn't good enough.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree.
Yeah. So let's talk about growing up in church. So
Growing up in church.
your uncle's the pastor, the
Yes.
bishop.
Even before that, my dad was a pastor, and he was at we didn't. I grew up at Great Refuge Temple with Apostle Gruber, Pastor Bishop Gruber. We grew up there because my dad was an assistant pastor there, and so we were there. Dad passed away when I was like 7 years old, so we were there until 7, and then we transitioned to Master Bible Center Ministries, where we've been basically up until now.
Which was your grandfather's church?
Yes, it was my grandfather's church. Got passed down to my uncle, and now Uncle Thomas Rouse and First Lady Lakeisha Rouse. They're the pastors there, senior pastors there, and so we've been there that time. But growing up in church, if you are associated or in some type of, if you're in the family, just know you're going to be working. In some way, you are going to be working. My mom, she really was like over the music ministry. So once she left, I was helping with the choir director. I was a praise and worship leader. I was helping with the social media, the TVs, the broadcasting, things that I didn't know. I ended up learning, like going out to research those things growing up in church.
In church.
I was the usher. I was the junior missionary. I had all these different titles, like.
Yes, absolutely. And so now to see you and your sisters in ministry, it's amazing, because sometimes when we grow up in church, we have a tendency to stray.
That's funny you say that. And it goes with, I remember my mom, going back to my mom, she was very strict. A lot of things she just would not let us do, even as it related to convocation and stuff. And I remember my friends would tell us, oh, I already know when you get older, when you all get older, you're probably not going to go to church. You're probably not going to do this. But we're still doing all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah. When the Bible said you train up a child in the way that he should go, when they get old, they won't depart from it. Even if they stray, you gotta come back.
Yep.
But there is that remnant that never really leaves. I could say that even with my children, even when I stopped going to church, I would still get up and drive them to service.
Right.
And then, like you, they've always done everything in ministry. In the church we were attending in Valdosta Union Cathedral, they had like 7 a.m. service. Right. Whew. You gotta be real safe to go to 7 a.m.
Real.
So I would get up and drive them to church at 7 and be like, hey, when y'all get ready to leave, just call me and let me know. Because they have literally always still yet been a part of ministry. And I think that is because y'all had so much fun. We did a lot of stuff. We went a lot of places. We did a lot of traveling. So, and you all had such a camaraderie together, those of you who grew up, that y'all are still friends. Y'all still support each other in what you do. Matter of fact, me and Jasmine, we were laughing because I was talking to her about being one of AJ's biggest fans.
Yeah.
Because she is going to follow and she going to be the what AJ have, regardless. And me and her, we were laughing at that. So tell us about your role amongst your sisters.
I was the first to leave the nest. Jaquel, my oldest sister, well, my dad had 7, but out of my mom, 4 of us. Jaquel was always the second mother to everyone. So Jaquel did not leave. I was always the rebellious one. I'm just going to be honest. So as soon as I became a senior, I was 18. I was like, oh, this is my time to leave. Let me go off to college. So that I was the first to get my degree. And then I was there to educate my sisters, like, hey, you all go ahead and get your degree. Desiree has her bachelor's degree. She also is a director. She's opening up her daycare soon. Jasmine's in school now for photography. Jaquel's also in school for, I wouldn't say fashion. And I was the first to kind of help them to, hey y'all, come on, get this degree, because you always have something to fall back on when you have a degree. Alongside of that, like I was a praise and worship leader. Once I left Maddox to go off to school, Jasmine ended up, like I kind of trained her, like, hey, come on, this is what you do as a praise and worship leader. So we all play our part. One thing that I love that my mom taught us, she taught us not to compare and to always love each other. So that's one thing. We all kind of play our role within our bond, JDR4.
Yes.
So that's one thing that I love. Jaquel, she's the mother. Jasmine, she's the friendly one that'll go up and hug anybody. And then Desiree, she's very strategic, and she's very organized, and she's very business minded. So we're able to, as our unit, go to each of our strengths, and then the weaknesses that we know within each other, we can go and help build up our weaknesses.
That's very encouraging. And yeah, it's funny because Jasmine was always not the one who wanted to be up front.
She really wasn't.
I remember having to bribe her just to say her speech in kindergarten. I bought her a teddy bear, like
with candy, all of that.
And here she is now, praise and worship leader, and traveling. Every time I see her, she got her suitcase.
Yes.
I said, look at her. You better go live your life.
That's what I told her. I said, while you're young, you're not married, you don't have any children, that's your time to go and see the world. One thing, I keep referencing my mom, but my mom, she didn't have children till she was like 28. And she said one reason why I was able to be a mom is because I was able to enjoy my youth. So once I got older, even though I had children when I was older, I'm able to take the time and spend with my children. And so that's one thing, little nuggets that I remember from my mom. I tell her, like, hey, look, you're young. You don't have any other responsibilities besides your bills. Go travel. Go and just enjoy life. Go, just go and just live.
Yes, be free.
Yes, that's it. Be free.
I remember encouraging Teresa to do the traveling, and she would check mark all the areas and the things, so she was able to do her traveling that she wanted to do prior to getting married. So, tell me about your struggle. And in that transition, because if you are coming from somewhere where it's sheltered, and then you go off to college and there's not that strong hand that's right there. So tell me about the struggles that you experienced having to transition.
So you know what? I really would like to say, I'm not sure if it's believe it or not, I don't really think that we were sheltered. And a lot of people may see it because of how strict she was, but she really let us do things like me. I love to dance. I love to have fun. I like to go out. And I think that's something that my mom knew about me. So when I was a teenager, even though she was the evangelist, she said, hey, you can go to the teen parties, but just don't go to the club. But of course, me, never mind. But moving from, I can't even go back to middle school. Middle school, I went to a private school, and then I went to Reball. So it wasn't necessarily the shelteredness that I would necessarily say, but just moving to bigger places. So moving from a small, a tight-knit family to now being just out in the open, it was more so of taking what my mom taught me, taking what I learned in church, with my friends, and just applying it to my own lifestyle. Not necessarily being a shelter, but learning how to adult. If that even, it was more so learning how to adult. I saw my mom cook. Now I got to do it by myself. Now I have to do it. Now I got to get up and I got to actually go to school and really not just say, oh, I'm just going to take this test. No, now I have to study. Now I got to show myself, what I'm actually capable of. So I want to say that's the transition from high school to college, or just all of these different levels in my life, even moving from college to having a career, it's always, okay, now what are you going to do? You can't just sit down and you got to do something.
So you mentioned that you have a show. Tell us about your show.
So, surprisingly, my show came when God told me to start this show. It was a little bit before, I think COVID was going on, but a traumatic event took place in my life. And God was like, hey, I want you to do this show, and it's going to be centered around mental health. And so, me wanting to be a doctor, I've always studied physical health. I've always studied the body, muscles, tissue, diseases. But God was like, no, I want you to talk about the mind health. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we can go in the gym, we'll work out because that's our outer appearance. Mm-hmm. We know what to eat because that's our outer appearance. But what we don't do, a lot of people don't strengthen their mind. Mm-hmm. And so from there, I said, okay, well, I can do that. I can talk about mental health. So that's what my show has been geared around, mental health. The first episode was like about grief. I talk a lot about self-control. Just basically finding ways to help strengthen mental health. Of course, I tie in Christianity to that. Tonight on my show, I talked about control, negative and positive controls. So it's just strengthening the mind in any type of way, psychology, all of those type of things like that.
So you said you had a traumatic experience. Tell us a little bit about that.
I don't know if I want to. I don't want to.
You don't have to.
Not yet.
Okay. So how did you bounce back?
I'm actually still bouncing back, but I want to say the traumatic experience was more so a public experience. Mm-hmm. And because it was a public experience, before all this happened, I said, God, if you want to use anybody, you got to be careful what you pray for. I said, God, if you want to use anybody, here I am, Lord, use me. I don't care whatever happens. If you got to use me so that anybody can see wherever you want me to travel, use me, Lord. Mm-hmm. Not knowing that it wasn't necessarily a private tragedy. It was a public tragedy where I was embarrassed. It was betrayal. And then it just ended a lot of what I thought was good times in my life. So now it's more of the healing. It's not a outward healing. When you go through something public, then you have to publicly display yourself in a certain type of way, mm-hmm. as if you're not hurting or, oh yeah, I'm okay. But then it gets to that mental health where you go through those private moments. And in those mm-hmm. private moments is where you're healing. You have to heal. It's not just having a face to say, hey, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. But it is okay, let me deal with what I'm dealing with privately so that I can really be okay publicly.
I know for me, also going through public shame, going through a really, really public divorce, it was as if I was feeling as if people wasn't understanding where I was coming from.
Yeah.
And it caused me to be angry because I felt like I was unjustly treated. Mm-hmm. But I remember sitting on my bed and I remember the Lord saying, those who mind don't matter. Mm. And those who matter don't mind. Mm. That's a quote from Dr. Seuss. I was like, really, God? But that freed me. Mm. And it broke that stigma from me as to how I feel like people should view my side. Mm-hmm. So that helped me a whole lot. Mm-hmm. A whole lot. Mm-hmm. So tell us where we can find you on social media.
You can go to Terra Dana Beauty. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Terra Dana Beauty. Also, I have my my Terra Dana, like the actual talk show. That's also on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me on YouTube as well. Sometimes I'll post like little small clips. Let's talk about it, about different mental health issues. Yeah, TeraDanah. And you can also go to my website if you want to purchase lashes, lipstick, apparel, lip gloss. That's TeraDanahBeauty.com.
All right. I'm definitely going to purchase me some lashes. Again, I am Miss Get You Together, signing off. Same time next week, I'll see you.
With Embrace You, I found a career.
At Embrace You, I found a family.
At Embrace You, I found me.
Are you the strong friend who's always giving advice? Are you the one always mentoring and coaching? Have you thought about being a certified life coach? Because here at Embrace You, we have room for you in our family.
I am Embrace You.
I am Embrace You.
I am Embrace You.
And you can be Embrace You.